Did you know there's a way to use your MacBook Pro as a wireless video production monitor? Today I wanted to show you something that's a really cool feature that you can do with the Axoon wireless transmitters. I did a video a while ago that was sponsored and talking about their new wireless transmitter they just released. However, there's some really cool features that I didn't cover in that now I want to talk about, and this is a non-sponsored video. This is just something I've discovered while using the wireless transmitter. And that is that the app that you use on the App Store so that you can get it onto your iPhone or iPad, so you can wirelessly transmit that signal from your camera, from the transmitter to them, also works on M1 and M2 MacBook Pros. And suddenly I think that opens up some really interesting use cases that perhaps we didn't consider before. So why would you want to use a MacBook Pro as a production monitor compared to, say, a proper production monitor that you can go and get out there? Well, first off is the cost. Production monitors are generally quite expensive, especially if you want one with a bright daylight viewable screen. And well, the chances are you probably already have a MacBook Pro with you already. And a MacBook Pro with, say, a 14 or even a 16-inch screen is pretty nice size. It's actually very much up there with a lot of production monitors that you can get on the market. And for pretty much the same price as buying just one of those production monitors, you could have a full MacBook Pro that you can also use for your video editing or even just doing various tasks while on set, such as doing backups of the footage. So the chances are you're probably going to have this already on you when you're turning up on a shoot anyway. You already have a MacBook in your kit bag. So this suddenly means that you're not having to carry around an additional item for using as a production monitor. Production monitors, although very well made, are also quite bulky, heavy items to carry around. Whereas obviously MacBook Pros have been designed to be able to easily slip into a backpack or whatever bag you may be carrying your kit with. So it doesn't take up any more additional space than you would have done if you hadn't turned up with a monitor. The screen also on a MacBook Pro is excellent. It's one of the best screens you can get out there right now, especially considering the price. Now, of course, this is a wireless transmission over H.264, so the quality isn't going to be up there with a proper cabled connection. There is obviously going to be some loss. I think for a client or for a producer to be looking at this is more than good enough. I certainly wouldn't have any concerns about the image quality that the Axoon can send across to a MacBook Pro. And actually the latency is very minimal. As you can see here, I've got it live on the screen now as I'm talking, and there doesn't seem to be any real concerns of too much delay going on whatsoever. Being a laptop and of course the hinged screen means that you don't need a stand either. You know, if you're placing this on a tabletop, unlike a monitor that probably needs its own feet or some sort of stand or a light stand to work from, you can just flip this open, suddenly it's working great. You also don't need any wireless attachments to this either. It just uses the Wi-Fi built in on the MacBook Pro, connecting directly to the transmitter. As well as not having to worry about additional accessories, you also don't need to worry about battery life really either. The M1 has excellent battery life, as we already know. So just using it for monitoring is just nice and simple. Of course, you can plug it in very easily if you need to, but the large battery life and the very efficient internals of this laptop means there's no real issues whatsoever running this for a long period of time compared to, say, a production monitor that will probably require several V-lock batteries while you're actually on a shoot. Finally, you're not missing out on any of the features you'd expect to see from a proper monitor when using the Axoon app on a MacBook Pro. It actually has all the features such as false color, as you can see here. You've also got things like your markers, even focus peaking. You can put LUTs on here. You can even add things like overlays of an image from your computer onto the screen as well. So it's actually got some additional features that you wouldn't expect to see on a normal monitor. One really cool thing that I like about this as well is the fact you can hit the record button here in the corner and actually record a proxy file of what's on screen onto the MacBook Pro as well. And just having that feature available where you can just hit record and now you're recording this internally, maybe just for some daily rushes so that the producer can look back at it or the client can look back, is a really nice thing to have built into a monitor, let alone a MacBook Pro. If you really wanted to, you could even live stream from the app as well. I probably wouldn't do that in this situation. I think you'd have a proper live stream setup, which would be more sensible. but maybe you need to stream it back to someone watching remotely. And this could be a great solution for that. You know, this suddenly now means you have a production monitor, a live streaming solution for remote clients, as well as a proxy recorder, all built into one system without any cables being involved on this end whatsoever. The final thing that I think is really cool is the fact that you can actually multitask as well while viewing the live feed. So you could make it a bit smaller, have it in the corner of the screen, and the producer maybe could be writing notes down the side, or you could have your storyboard also listed up. Yeah, it'd be really cool because you can then compare maybe scenes that you're doing, so you can see the shot that you're actually currently getting while on the same screen seeing the storyboard image that you're maybe trying to achieve, or maybe some reference images that you want to compare against. So that's a really cool, clever use that you could do with this compared to using a traditional production monitor. Now, it's not all perfect. There are certain things you need to be aware of. And I don't think this is officially supported by Accsoon. I have actually asked them whether the CMO would be supported for the M1 Mac, and also I mentioned this one at the same time as well, and they didn't seem to know about the ability to do this. So I'm getting the feeling that this is just something that slipped through the net and ended up on the App Store for the Mac, and perhaps shouldn't actually have appeared here when it should be only designed for iPad and iPhone as well. But the fact it seems to work so well and very few issues with it, I think is a great solution that's worth talking about. But because it isn't fully supported, do expect probably the odd glitch. There might be the odd time that it will crash or close down on you, or you may find that the image quality suddenly dips down if you go too far away. I mean, not a big surprise. That's quite common with these sort of transmitters that go to mobile phone devices. We've seen that a lot where disconnections happen and things like that, compared to using a proper dedicated wireless system. The other negative you need to be aware of course, is it's using the Wi-Fi on the MacBook Pro to receive the signal from the transmitter. You connect to it as if it's a Wi-Fi hotspot. That does mean that you're limited in terms of your internet options. You're going to have to cable in a connection over Ethernet if you want to have internet at the same time as using the wireless transmitter. Now, one thing you do need to be aware of once you set up the transmitter and the app on your MacBook Pro is the image might look really quite contrasty. And the reason for that is your color range. It may be that you're set to full range rather than limited range. There's a couple of easy solutions for that. They've actually got a dedicated button along the bottom. And if you can't see it, you just click on the plus icon and then you can find it within the options there. And it's just the display option. So if you click that, and you can switch back and forth between full range or limited range. So you'll just want unlimited range to give you the matching image of the screen. So there you go. If you're looking for a production monitor, maybe you don't need to be thinking about how you're going to afford one of those very expensive larger monitors. Instead, maybe you need to be looking at how you can use your MacBook Pro instead, as I think it's a pretty clever solution with some really great bonus features you just wouldn't get in a traditional production monitor.